Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. The markets took in Microsoft's and AMD's earnings this afternoon. Microsoft being the higher capitalized company has a higher weighting, and the earnings they beat, to be fair. They did beat the estimate by, but I think it was under a nickel that they beat by. And I don't listen to the press conference, and I really don't look at the after news to determine whether what the company is saying, going forward, etc. So if the stock is fairly priced or not. That's not something I do. I do notice, though, that right now the stock dropped 22 plus $25. Right now it's down, and it's kind of been lower and it's been higher off of that 422, almost 423 close in Microsoft. So the harder they start to bring it down, of course, brings the index down. Now, what also took place that I was observing is how it really was brought down the price of Apple, brought down AMD, Amazon, all the other major players within the NASDAQ and other markets also started to come down, from where they closed. So they're trading lower. And of course, the net puts more pressure on the NASDAQ as an index. And suddenly it was down at one point over $400. It's recovered nicely from that. But when I go and I look at the chart, I'm realizing that part of what I discussed yesterday, particularly here in the NASDAQ, was the formation of what I thought could be just an extended. So this fifth wave, the minuet fifth wave, which I had marked complete here along with minute wave A, and this would have had to develop into a B wave. Well, obviously it didn't, and we started to go down and we broke the low. So what I've done is what I said I would do, and that I took the 4 and I shifted it over to that high, which actually came in just below the high previously, which was 19,390, and this is 77. So it turns into an A, B, C wave 4. Then we start 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, likely 5. This little bounce that we got back up to like 70 something, I believe, maybe a little bit higher, is a 4 possibly. And we still have one more down to finish this fifth wave. Now that's on my hourly. I can drop it quickly down to the 15-minute chart. You can take a look. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we are with our 4 kind of happening now. And then we get one more down, and it should do 5. And then hopefully we are finishing the A wave, hopefully. Now, some may ask, some may look to see, well, is it possible that that is a B? Because it certainly is A, B, and then a C, and it's a B. We're getting a Y out of this, but even though it's a kind of a more of a 5-wave structure. So again, I'm going to interpret it as we're dropping in the 5th and we're completing the minute wave A of minor wave 4. And then we come rallying back up again. Still, I'll have to remark it, but in a, and I still have to leave that on. This is for the minuet wave 5, which is actually still in motion. So as we come off, we have, I could probably throw that one in there. Let me just take a look, because what we're using is wave 4 to wave 5, actually wave 1 to wave 5, and I can do the same thing here. And so I'm going to run another as such. It's going to be a little bit bigger, more interesting, and then stick it right there. And so we've got, again, 1.618, which, oh, we smacked on the nose. Look at that. So discovery, folks. What we're going to do is take these off, and this would be the 5th, so it is 1.618. It's good. And it's going to be in gold. And we're going to say, okay. So look at that. This low was 18,725. And that support was at 18,727. Hit it on the nose and bounced. Now, is that enough? Maybe. Maybe. Again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. So it suggests that this is a 4 and we come back down. If it were just a rally and keep on going, then I'll work out the 5 waves down to complete the 5th. But right now I leave open the potential that we're going to come back and we could rally a little bit, but they're not taking this in stride, let's say. So again, we're seeing kind of a little bit more activity, but now they're tending to, okay, we're closed and the stocks are continuing to trade. So they're holding them towards those levels. In any case, here in the NASDAQ, we're seeing extensions. Now, let me just take this out of the 15-minute and just for the sake, go up and take a look at the 4-hour chart and open it up. And you see, this is where there's the after hours. And here we are there's that low. You can see we're into the rectangle or the box that should contain the minor 4th wave. And I feel like we're only coming down in wave A and we're there. So it builds stronger confidence that if it's all over, then it could be all over, but I'm not looking at it that way. I mean, someone else might interpret this as an already complete deal, like a 5-3-5. And it's a stretch because there's a lot going on in between. So, but I'm going to leave it as an A, which means we get a B. And I got to wait to see, I get confirmation of exactly where that A wave completed. So where this sequences of 5s and then the A wave completed. And then we get a B. If I took it off of just that low, and go back down to the hourly chart. If I take it off just that low, then I'm doing a B wave as such. We're just going to run retracements. And the problem right now, folks, is that you've watched me do this a couple of times. And it just doesn't seem to be fitting, and that we put up the fibs and they don't last. I'm not even going to put up 618. We're not even getting close to 236 lately. So here we have just some basics. If that completed it, because that's what I'm taking the number from, a B wave, okay, now we're coming in lower. Of course, so 236, not even really within the fibs associated with the B wave, but there should be a resistance at 19,253, 19,583, 19,851. And that would be 50% retracement in a B wave, and then we come back down again. So the lower we go and still needing a B wave would suggest that we're going to get deeper into this once wave C kicks in. So this level, which is the most common for a 4th wave, it just happens to be a minor 4th wave, so it's 0.382, it's 17,474 or 17,475 or in that area. The actual number is 17,371.75. That's the exact low. So in that hood, and it could drop even a little bit more, but let's one day at a time. So again, this is what I've been working with now for some time. And I can take it out to the daily and we can just see we monitored it all the way up and then we got our top, and then it did put a couple of foolers in there, but once it got committed and we got confirmation, it is following through to get us into this, which I have left on my charts for a long time. So that's still my expectation, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. And I need to be honest, what I'm basically saying now is that the market does need to kind of put a little bit of relief rally in here at some point. And we may get additional ups, a downside. And the danger is because of the setup, because of what's going on in terms of the options flows, in terms of where put wall, call wall, and volatility triggers are. Now, what did happen today is the volatilities triggers got triggered. And again, got triggered hard after the market closed. So options couldn't trade, aren't trading anymore. And so it's just the stock itself and the futures. So the cash market, i.e. the NDX, okay, let's try that again, closed with the bell. And you can see 18,796. And you can also see 1 o'clock Pacific or 4 o'clock Eastern. You can go back over here. And we already got down to 18,727 or lower, 24, I think it was. Also within that 1 o'clock hour. So, yeah. Anyway, what I'm going to leave open, the possibility we can come down. If they start to really hit it hard, it is because of where the markets are basically sitting. If you're looking at the SPX and you start looking at the call and the put wall, same thing in the NDX and in the Qs. So importantly, the comparison between the NQ is coming with the triple Q. And that is where associations are made, but we're associating a put wall, call wall, the volatility trigger, and the different levels of where gamma is gathered. And I go over that in the trade room, so I'm basically stating it now as, not necessarily a teaser, but when we start to see things move quickly, directionally, particularly to the downside, we have to really look at and take a look at it. It's like, well, what could be behind it? And it isn't necessarily like, oh, the market is turning bearish. It's that the market is still within this corrective phase. And the way I look at it is that the market continues to make adjustments according to what the stock price is. And you really kind of have to look at it and go like, well, at that moment, that's the perfect price. Why? Because a buyer and seller just said so. These are all trades that are going on. Whether they're knocking it down, they're still good trades because that's where the market tended to go. And when it got down there, so Microsoft right now is 397 bid, but we've seen 393, 392, 390 bids and trade. So at that time, is it saying that that's where it can go? No, the market continues to search for where it can get its business done. Where can buyer and seller meet? And when they're out there on a hunt, the numbers are going to change. But anyway, back here at the farm, things could continue to deteriorate and we could see another quick slice lower. Now, what would that suggest in terms of, could we just really be getting in here and call it a 4? Well, I think I would have to review and take a look at that. So I don't want to get biased here by saying it's like, how many times do I want to think this A wave can come all the way down until we're all the way down here? And I'd have to say, well, I'd be looking closely to see what else could be. Now, as I stated, and I'll state again, I've not seen it, but here we are back in the hourly. If I took all my lines off and we took this and this, and I put it back 3, 4, 5, then this could be A, B, C, and it could be minor 4. And I'm not kidding. Now it's pretty, and in my view, it would be on an Elliott wave basis, I think it'd be pretty remote. Because there's a fourth wave of 1 degree higher. And so it's like, okay, so is this bigger? Yeah, so that could fit in that respect. Because I'd have to bring it down, the 5 and the A to here and the B to here. And now we're heading lower in wave C of minor wave 4. I'm not charting it that way because I really feel that what was just getting extensions within it, like this and this. So, but push come to shove, if they let it all go tomorrow again, and we start sliding deeper into it, it's going to raise that possibility. It's going to put that possibility under a little bit greater strong microscope, so to speak, or just being able to put it together. So with that in mind, I'm going to leave it as is. The moving averages now are all pointing lower. So we'll be looking for that, at least on the hourly chart, for that to continue. Over in the S&P, I have done the same type of account, leaving the -3 up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, we're inside of the 5. And it kind of did break below. And if it was going to be a fourth wave triangle, it would no longer fit after that. I could move the 4 over to here, but then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3 maybe, and then a 4 and a 5, and this 5. So here as well. It's not been easy, not easy count. Even if we went as a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to be weird 5 because we're going to have to connect this, and I don't see the wedge. So I'm doing it a little bit differently, but still the same type of a message. We probably need one more low before we finish minute wave A. Our next up is 53.88. We do have, I'd want to check again to see after tonight or after today what changes may occur. Is it going to be stronger to be pointing that we're breaking through something? But again, we're looking at whether or not the volatility trigger is triggered. In this case, the volatility trigger was more pointed towards an upside move that would engage a different type of a trade. And with this is more of like it's broke a gamma level. And so what happens if there's a large amount, in this case for the downside, was there a lot of short puts sitting there at a particular strike? And a break of that pushed it through and gave it enough where there needed to be adjustments made. And then we started to see things really slide, more so in the NASDAQ, by the way, than in the S&P. But the S&P finished the session down 51, and it was down, let me see how low had it gotten. Closed at 54.52, and the low on it was 54.33. So it was a good 19 points lower than the close. And it's the same type of a picture. We need more because they're still just not going to bounce the stock price around as we see people coming in to do what they think they need to do. I don't think to just kind of be trading the stock just to trade the stock at this hour. I think you're going to have a reason to really step in to want to sell it or to want to buy it. And that's where I'm going to leave that. So we're seeing it just kind of bounce down to 395 and then up to 399 is what I've seen since I've been making the update. Now, tomorrow, again, we have Meta and we have the Fed. The market continues to lean on that the Fed is building the way or clearing a path for them to discuss or announce that they likely will lower at the September meeting. I don't think this is the August meeting. I don't think that, or actually July, that they would be doing it now. The market has really priced in it, but I believe that's on a September contract. So again, coming up. So how much of it though are algorithms and traders in the belief that they're going to do it tomorrow? Now that would be, I would be surprised. Now, how they do it and what they say and all the rest of it is going to be important. If I take a look at the bond market, yeah, it's trading up. You never know. You just don't know. And I'm continuing to look for the market too, to continue lower and get into my target areas, both in the S&P. So I continue to have that target area in the S&P. Top side, we're close, but not getting there. And it truly is just above, or just below, excuse me, just below 5,400, because the high is 5,393.75, or like 5,394, you could say. And so the top that I have here is 5,394. And we've gotten as low, that's this one over here, we've gotten as low as 33, 32, 54.33. Actually, the other one is 54.32 is the absolute low that we've gotten to thus far. Now, I'm going to leave it here as a 3 and a 4. Again, what do we have as far as numbers tomorrow in terms of economic data? We have, on Wednesday, we have ADP employment costs, Chicago Business Barometer, it's a PMI, pending home sales, and FOMC. So we do have some things in the morning that may twist and turn it around a little bit. We shall see. More importantly, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then after the bell, we get Meta. All right. Hope that I've kind of filled in any blanks that people are having, but again, still looking for a different level. I think the S&P can come down to 53.88. That's our next support level to complete 5 and 5, and then the A. I'm leaving it at that. And the next update will be on Wednesday, July the 31st.